Hello. I've been playing this game way too much, and I kind of just want to talk about the stats and min-maxing and optimizing the classes. So if all you care about is like the real basic information, here's all you need to know. For every 5 points of vitality, put 1 point into healing. Metanoia and luck are absolute garbage. I'll get into more detail and in-depth later. Witchery is pretty good for the first like 30 or so points. Endurance is the most important stat in the game. It should easily take up most of your levels. Also, Butcher is by far the best starting class. Slayer's a close second. Everyone else is like effectively starting 7 levels or more below them. Alright, so now let's get a little more in depth. So, Vitality. The first 30 levels of it gives you 3 HP per level up. Then the next 20 levels give you like 2 HP per level up. Then past like 50, you're getting, you know, a mixture of like 1 HP a level, the occasional 2 HP a level. It really falls off hard. But honestly, once you get 30 Vitality, you're at the point where unless you really fuck up a lot in rapid succession, or you're just caught out of stamina during like a massive enemy wave, you'll be fine. Healing is a stat that people incorrectly say is really bad, probably because they just haven't gotten that deep into the game. You know, they're probably only like level 50 at most. So there's a trinket that gives you 125% increased healing. So if you have like the starting value of 8 healing, some classes start with more, some classes start with less. Let's just use 8 as an example. You have 38 healing. If we add 125% to this, we get 85 healing. Well, I have 242 health. So, if we just times this by like 4, you know, so, okay, 85.5 times 3. So, it's going to take us almost exactly 3 heals on the dot at base healing to max our health out. That's not bad, but when you consider that if you just put, because healing at around level, I think it was 19, if I remember correctly, you get 2 healing efficiency per level. Then it moves to getting 1. Then at like level 25, it moves to this where you need to put 2 levels to get 1 in. So once you just getting to like 18-ish healing, which for a class like Butcher is only like 5, I think, levels, if I recall correctly, you get to where you have 55 healing. And if we add 125% to that, we move up to 123. So just by putting 5 levels in here, minus 85, we move up, you know, just by adding like 5 levels, we have increased our total healing output by almost 50%. That is huge returns on minimal investment. Just having 18 healing plus the fetish is enough to turn every single heal into a full heal for like until you get to like 30 vitality. So I say every 5 points of vitality, put 1 point into healing. So endurance is a bit of a different stat. Endurance is a stat where basically just keep throwing points into it. So 340 stamina. Let me give you an example of what that looks like. This is a whole magazine of Basilisk. So you can see that all 10 shots fully scoped it takes like a quarter of my stamina. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dashes. And I know it's 8 because I've had to record this video a few times to get the right take. So even without that mumbo jumbo of standing there, it's still 8 dashes. Here, fine. Just give no room of doubt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You get 8 full dashes before you're fully exhausted. And this has double dipping because the dash gets longer. So at 90 endurance, which I don't expect people to play the game long enough to get here, at 90 endurance, you dash like 3 times as much as you do at the start, and each dash is twice as long, so it's actually like dashing 10 times. It's absurd. But the reason why endurance is so important is, let's say this is an enemy. If we dash at him, you know, he'll have these weak spots. So being able to dash more means way less chance of getting hit. Dashing is a very offensive thing in this. This is effectively putting points into doing more damage. Because you are dashing more, which means more chance to hit weak spots, which means more stunning, so enemies become less of a threat, and every stun like triples your damage output. So this actively increases your damage and your consistency and is easily the best stat in the game. Witchery is hard to quantify, but for the first like 50 levels, it doesn't really see any kind of diminished returns, and is honestly just good up until like the 50s, where you occasionally get a level where the next level doesn't do anything. But honestly, dude, once you get like plus 40% spell recharge speed, which happens at around like 30, 35-ish, once you get to that point, the spell recharge bonus from killing enemies, the witchfire you get, dude, I can use my heavy spell, kill one enemy, and just have the heavy spell back, especially if you're using the cricket. Metanoia is a stat that a lot of people told me is really good, but the math just doesn't check out. So we're going to talk about this one last, because this one's going to take the most amount of time to talk about. Luck is, it's hard to quantify. I'll just say this. Going from the starting Butcher 10 luck to about 30 luck, that made me get, like, you know, I would get about 1 healing per drop from enemies and 1 healing per chest, opening every chest on the map. So, do with that information what you will. I don't care about gold. I have, like, fucking 1,500 gold in, like, everything you could ever want to buy. Gold is not a reason to put points into luck. You will not get enough to justify it. Keys are kind of a reason to get it, because keys give you demonic ammo, they give you healing drops, they give you white feathers. Always being totally stocked on keys is really important for your success in the run. Also, I've noticed I get like 4 white feathers from just about every single healing chest. Or I'm sorry, not healing chest, just every single chest. Very rare for a chest to drop anything other than feathers at 50 luck. So that's nice. Basically, it makes most chests give you healing feathers. Also, it makes every ammo enemy, if you're wondering, the guys that come out of the portal, they have like a gold symbol above their head. They will drop demonic more frequently and increases the chance of getting 3 instead of 1 demonic ammo from a pickup. Honestly, I would say, unless you plan on playing the game a lot and going into a super deep level, do not bother with luck. Because luck requires so much investment to see any kind of consistently good return from it. Like, if you put 10 points into it, it's not the worst thing in the world. But honestly, it's something I feel like you need to get it to like level 30-ish before it starts actually doing anything. But honestly, it's like the last thing you should invest in. But yeah, it's hard to quantify. Luck is a very win more stat. If you're having a good run and you make a mistake and you heal, luck increases the chance to get another heal to replenish it. I don't know, luck just smooths out the curve. If you make mistakes, or if you get just a really hard seed, like random spawns on it, luck can smooth that difficulty curve back in your favor. But if you're really good at the game, you really don't need luck. If you're high level and you just had the stats to brute force things, you really don't need luck. If you're just playing with a good build, you really don't need luck. So, you know, luck is just a weird stat. Okay, now I want to talk about what I firmly believe is objectively the worst stat in the game. This stat, I understand why a lot of people like this stat, but I think you are completely misguided if you invest in this. So, spend money to make money is a sound concept. But let me just show you something. So this is 8 Metanoia. Now let me go back to the main menu and let me swap to a Pentian. Just to show you what a Pentian is like. So Pentian starts with 15 Metanoia. Also, Jesus Christ, low endurance. So 15 Metanoia gives me plus 10 to Witchfire. That's it. So going from the Butcher's 8 to 15, you're looking at like a 7-point investment, roughly, to get 10% more witchfire. So if we go back to the main menu, then we could just look. The whole reason I dropped this character, by the way, was because I invested like 12 points into Metanoia in it. And I was like, well, this sucks. It's not optimal starting stats, and I invested in the bad one. So anyway, we go from minus 2% to 10%, so that's effectively a 12% increase in witchfire. Let's say I wanted to put 7 levels into this. That's 72,000 witchfire. So, let's just do basic math. I get about 55k, little more, little less. Depends on if I do the side dungeon or not, for running an Iron Gate castle. So, let's add 12% to this. Okay. Or no, I'm sorry, I did this wrong. Hold on. Or yeah. Let's subtract 60... Let's subtract 55,000 minus 61600. So we get 6,600 Metanoia extra from going to 15. Now, let's take this 6,600 and let's times it by 10 runs. That's 66,000. That is not... doing 10 runs would not even pay for a single level. But we put like 7 points into this, so we gotta get 7 levels out of it to get our money worth. So 6,600, or I'm sorry, times 10. So how many do we need to run actually just to get 1 level back? Is it about 12? Yeah, about 12-ish. So we need to do 12 runs 7 times. So if we do 12 times 7, just to get a rough estimate, we'd have to do 84 runs of Iron Gate Castle for Metanoia to pay for itself. Now you might say, okay, well that only counts in the super late game. No. Once you hit level 50, it starts taking about 50,000 to upgrade. So if you look at it this way, every class starts at 6, you have 44 levels before you reach this point where you need 50k to level. And it basically, from 50 to like 250 where I'm at, it only goes up to 70,000. There is a huge jump from 0 to 50, and then basically nothing from then on. So if we just look at it like that, 7 levels of 46 divided by 7, you're looking at like 6.5% of your total leveling is dedicated towards that Metanoia before the big jump. So like, you know, you see what I'm saying here? 7 levels that could have gone to endurance, which would make your runs significantly easier, you're putting it here instead of putting it here, which would probably make your runs way easier. Metanoia would need to give you like 7% bonus witchfire per level for like the first, 20 levels for me to even consider putting points into it. Now, there's that thing that says thresholds, additional powers will be available in the future. If this gets crazy threshold bonuses, then it will be worth it. Maybe this will have something like at 25 Metanoia, gain 100% bonus witchfire on stunned enemy kills. Okay, then it's worth going to that, definitely, because most of your kills are stuns. So, the thresholds have the potential to change this, but as it stands currently, this is easily, objectively, the worst stat in the game. Not only will it virtually never pay for itself, by the time it pays for itself, like, if I had put, like, 15 levels into Metanoia at the start, it would have paid for itself around now. And now it would pretty much be all gravy. But, like, dude, I'm like 60, 70 hours in on this character. And fucking playing 70 hours just to justify, like, a 10-point investment is a terrible ROI. That is awful returns. So until this gets some threshold, and you know what's crazy? Even if, let's say they add Gnostic 7 or whatever, I'm not even concerned. Because by then, the harder maps, you know, if we go over here, the harder maps, this map is already giving me 200% witchfire. So, you know, Witch Mountain, which is probably gonna be the final map, you know, we've got 2 more maps here. So going from here to here, 75% increase. Here to here, 25% increase. Okay. And every Gnostic level increases this by like another 50%. So what? Is this area going to be another 25% jump? Then this is another 25. So Witchfire Mountain, we can reasonably estimate going from Iron Gate to Witchfire, or Witch Mountain, is going to give you like 300% fucking increase. You'll be getting plus 300% right now compared to where you are at Iron Gate. So it'll be a plus 300% increase. And then add on the missing 3 Gnostic levels. And what? This is going to be like plus 500% Witchfire. And then you're going to consider that this will probably have the most density and the hardest enemies, which will drop the most Witchfire as a base on top of that 500% increase. Dude, I'm already getting borderline a whole level for running Iron Gate Castle, which only takes me like 10-12 minutes to do the whole thing. So you want to like triple the gain output? Dude, I'll just run Witchfire Mountain like 30 times over the course of like 7 hours or whatever, however the fuck long it takes. And then there you go. I'll get, you know, 50 Metanoia off that. Now, I'd like to talk about the starting classes, because I care quite a lot about optimizing the starting classes. And there's really only one that is truly optimal. If we take everything that we learned here and apply it to the starting stats. Alright, dude, come on.
After a long...
Right, so let's look. Butcher is easily the best. Vitality, healing, endurance. It has the lowest combined Metanoia and luck out of any class at the expense of Witchery. Okay, who cares? Let's just do some basic math here. If you pick Butcher, if you add up endurance, healing, vitality, you know, if we just pull up a calculator and we add 14 plus 13 plus 14, that gives us 41. Add the 6 Witchery, that gives us 47. So the stats that we really, really care about, we get 47 here. Now look at something like the Saint, who has 15 luck. We do 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. That gives us 36. The Saint starts 11 levels lower than the Butcher does, for all intents and purposes. Then we look at the Shadow, which has 9 plus 8 plus 7 plus 16, and it starts at 40. Shadow starts 7 levels below the Butcher, and it's like this for every single class. If you accept that Metanoia is the worst stat in the game, and luck isn't that impactful most of the time, then you really consider that you want to prioritize these 4 stats, like, heavily. And the nice thing about Butcher is starting at 13 healing is honestly, like, enough for you to hold yourself off until, like, honestly, 30 vitality. So, you start with Butcher and you don't even have to worry about healing. Butcher plus the Fetish makes up for 90% of your healing needs. You just invest your first, like, 20 levels into Witchery, and there you go. You have easily the best class. Slayer is a very close second, by the way. But Slayer has 1 extra point into luck. Or, I'm sorry, 2 points into luck. So it gives up 1 Metanoia for plus 2 luck, which is an overall worse stat spread of exactly 1. But it starts with arguably the best weapon in the entire game, and what is probably the top 3 best light spell in the entire game. And these two synergize, like lightning and cricket go together perfectly. So, like, if you just start as Slayer, you just say, okay, fuck it, I don't care. You get easily the best starting gear by a country mile. Literally, you could start with Slayer, never upgrade anything, never level up, and honestly, you can probably beat the game with relative ease compared to any other class. So, like, you know, Slayer has one worse stat spread if you're a hyper min-maxer, but has so much better starting gear. Alright, there you go. That's basically everything you could reasonably want to know about this system.